Another video. Yes, it's on postcards. Of course it is. Today's special topic is on churches. They always say don't talk religion and politics. It's just not good. Well, I have to talk about churches. Every box of postcards you're going to find pictures of churches throughout history. You're going to find them from the early 1900s all the way up to today in the chromes and stuff. You're going to find real photo postcards of them. Some of them can do very well. A lot of them are just average $4 to $7 cards. I've sold my mix of church postcards. But if you notice the thumbnail here, that's Paul Revere on the horse on his midnight ride. This is version 2 of that thumbnail, because the first one I did, I put a postcard on it of the Old South Church, where he put the lanterns on. It wasn't the South Church, it was the North Church. So I had to go out there and get a postcard to put on the thumbnail of the North Church. So I did fix history, or history fixed me. So if you see that, that's Paul Revere. Got some postcards that I sold. I only sold 7 cards. Sales have been up and down and stuff like that lately. Same old. It'll come back. I have another little thing I wanted to talk about today, was some security. There were some things going on in the YouTube world that I just wanted to pass on about some people hacking into channels. I'll talk a little bit about that and what I do to secure my applications and stuff. And then one of the polls. A lot of people use it or don't do it. And it's, do you use Worthpoint? Worthpoint is a place that you can go out and comp your cards and look at history, grab stuff from eBay and all these other places. Is it worth it? We'll find out. And I have some viewer comments to go over, and that's at the end of the video. You always want to stick around at the end of the video, is where people send me comments and I reply to them in my opinion on things, or we get a perspective from them. With the videos, down at the bottom underneath the little thing right down here is chapters. You can jump around if you want to skip to what sold, go to special topics, or you want to come back later. Say you got some church postcards, you want to get refreshed on them. You can always bring the video up and just go right to the section. I try to keep them in line. Might be off a few seconds here or there, but it's pretty close. If you click on it, it'll be in that section. Before I do that, let's talk a little bit about security. So on YouTube, there's some big channels that got hacked lately. And what I mean by hacked, it's called YouTube Stealer, I think is what's going on. The YouTube Stealer. They went in and got into these big YouTube channels and basically took over the channel and put everything private, and then change it to like Tesla something, and throw up a live video of Elon Musk talking, then they do something with crypto. All of these sites have a lot of stuff in place to make sure that doesn't happen. Where these people are getting in, one site, they determined that the person clicked on an email, a link in an email, and it put some malware, malicious software on their computer. The next big channel, and they're a tech channel too. When someone signs in, they have a lot of managers into their account doing different things. So if one team member comes on, they'll see an approve message on, they had 2-factor authentication. It'll come up on people's screens that say approve. Well, that's called fatigue. People just got used to it and just hit approve and hit approve. And that's where they think they got in there. So none of it was really, there's no tool that can stop a human being from pressing approve, but it's the practices. And that's what I want to talk about today, some of the things. And my background is a little bit in the technical world, or is in the technical world. And I've been through a lot of stuff about security and that. One of the biggest things is using public Wi-Fi. Try never ever use public Wi-Fi. It's just not good. So you always want to try to stay away from public Wi-Fi if you can. Watch out for the malware in email. If eBay sends you an email and it says do this and this, and you're going to have feedback or your account's been going to be suspended, do not click on the email. Go into the apps. If I get anything from YouTube, anything from eBay, anything from say an investment firm or whatever, I go into their app and read the message. I do not click on anything, any links or anything in email. That's what I make sure I don't do. One of the ways these people can also grab your identity or get into your computer and kind of take over some things, or do it on grab the session ID off your computer, and they can go to and sign in and with that session ID and kind of take control of your stuff. Try to log out as often as possible. Once you log out of an application like eBay, I log out of YouTube and restart it and clean your cookies on your computer, you're resetting. When you log out and log back in, you're resetting a new session ID. So try not to keep it up for months at a time on there. Another thing is passwords. I have a password manager. I have all these devices. I got a Windows machine, a Windows laptop, a little Windows thing, an iPad, an iPhone, a MacBook, and stuff. It was a pain for me to run around and change passwords and everything. So I have a password manager, and there's different ones out there. There's OnePass, there's Dashlane, RoboForm, Bitwonder, KeyPass. When you change it on one, it'll make sure it's taken care of. The app goes, it syncs across all your devices. I think I pay like $4.99 a month for mine, and I love it. I have all my passwords in there. I use the strong password generator they have. I have a main account password to get in. It also has the dark web search for my email addresses. If my stuff gets out there, it lets me know. We just found one of our IDs was could have been tampered with or whatever, breached back in the early part of March. So we just went in and changed that real quick. But that application told me that. But another thing is, it tells you if you reused your password. Never reuse a password. I never do that. I don't log into one. Everything has a separate password, so if they get into one, they're not going to get into everything. And this is just common sense to maybe trigger your mind. I know everybody does this. A lot of people probably don't even have the office environment where you walk away from your computer and someone else can get on. It's in your basement or in your office, and you're the only one on it. So you're pretty safe, but you just want to put a ring around your computer that keeps, the more secure you are and the more things you have, you're not going to be the easiest target. They're going to move on most of the time. But it can happen. One person, security expert, said there's two types of people. The people that got hacked and the people that haven't got hacked yet. So there's only two types of people. People that got hacked and people that got hacked yet. You don't want to make your productivity go down where you got to log in every 2 seconds, 2 minutes on your computer and all that stuff. If you feel secure and you got everything in place, you got backups and stuff like that, you should be fine. But if you want that extra security, make sure no one can get in. There's different hardware keys you can get. One is a UBO key, and I'll put some links down here. It's a hardware key that you can actually, like I could go into YouTube and tell it authenticate to my phone and sends me a code, or Google, I have to approve it on my phone, or I can tell it to use this hardware key that's plugged into my computer and I press the little button on it. What that does is, so basically security is passwords is something you know, and the hardware key is something you have. No one else has got that hardware key, so that's going to stop them right there. But it's not going to stop the people if you click on a link in your email. This is going to stop anybody trying to log in if they don't have that key. And most of the time, the security specialists and stuff recommend if you buy one UBIGO key, you get two, and you can tie two of them to it. That way, if you lose one or whatever, you have the other one. Keep it safe. But Google also has one called the Google Titan. I think the UBIGO key has more features, more options than Google, but they both do the same type of thing. And most applications, Microsoft and everything else, works with those and stuff like that. Now that's getting to the barrier of how much security you need. But I wanted to bring that up because I've seen multiple videos out on that today. If you go on YouTube and look at that, the YouTube Stealer, you're going to find people talking about that, and they've got some good conversation. But I figure with spring cleaning, this was a good topic to bring up, is secure your stuff, change your passwords. Don't think it's not going to happen. It can. It costs a lot of money and time when it does happen, when people get into your stuff. A lot of phone calls, a lot of hours dealing with it, a lot of stress. If you can put a little bit of prevention on it, would be good. All right, let's get into postcards, the good stuff. So I had 7 cards sell. Let's see what they are. The first one is living suitcases. Alligators. This is alligators at St. Augustine Alligator and Ostrich Farm. Linen card. I think the gators are all laid out there. I've sold this card before. $4 to $5. Next one, we're going to go on a trip. This is the Eastern Airlines. I believe that company's not around anymore. This is a Boeing 727 Whisperjet. Home card, $4 to $5. Then I sold one of those Navy covers. They bought this basically for the name of the ship and the cachet that's on there. And these go for 2 ounces eBay standard envelope. In one of those eBay envelopes, I put it in a first aid cover sleeve and put it in one of those brown eBay envelopes, and it goes 2 ounces. But that's what those are. I got a whole bunch over there. If you saw the video in my office, you've seen how many I got. Next one is Apache Hotel. I got a lot of these cards. Nice looking cards, well done. And this is located in Sparks, Nevada. Sold $4 to $5. I couldn't tell you how many times I've sold that card. This is a submarine right there going through the water. This is the Louisville SSN 724. If you're ever doing military boats, make sure if they got a number designation, put that on there. A lot of these sell from Google. People will go out there and Google their ship that they were on, or their father was on, or their brother was on, and Google, and it'll bring up postcards and stuff like that. So a lot of, I think, don't have all the information to really document what I'm saying here, but I believe that's where a lot of my ship sales come from, is Google. And I don't want to break those links. Next one is another ship. This is the Leyland, just an older one. It came from that private albums, those 8 album haul, and it was posted. Can't tell, but it's a posted card, and this sold for $5 to $6. And then I sold the Aeroview of Celtic Lodge, Cape Breton, Highland, Nova Scotia, Canada. Right there. Home card. So that was 7 cards. Now my goal is an average every day this year is 14. That's what I want to do. And that'll basically meet my budget of $70 a day. Well, today I've done half of that. But for the year, I'm at 12 cards. So I'm only 2 under my goal. I am over to $70 a day for the year, and my average sale price went up. So I got 3 things I'm tracking. Number of cards, average sales. So my number of cards is 14 I want to do this year. For the whole year, my sales, I want to be $70 or more, so basically $70. I'm exceeding that, and my average sale price of postcards goes up, and I'm there. So I got 2 of my goals met in some of the slowest months I've ever seen on eBay in a while. I just got to get the number of cards up. And there's different ways I can do that. I could put a sale on, but then my average sale price goes down and my sales go down. So it's a teeter-totter. If you fix one, you fix another. That's why I picked these 3 things. They're all connected in there. Number of cards, number of sales, average sale price. It's all how I put it together in my head. 3 things. So that's what sold. Now we're going to get into churches. We're going to church. I found some facts about churches. I'm not going to get into all the denominations, the pros and cons and stuff. I'm not that type of person. It's just, this is more about postcards and the buildings, the pictures that they took of churches and stuff, not about the religion itself. It's about what do these cards sell for. And I really haven't seen a different type of religion sell better than another one when it comes to churches. It's basically town, state, county, name of the church. That's what sells these. And it doesn't matter how big the church is. Some of these little smaller churches sell just as well as some of the big ones. But I found some facts about churches. And I learned a few things here. And there's one of them that was interesting. I never knew. But while I do that, I'm going to show you some pictures of some church postcards I found. A church is a building that was constructed to allow people to meet, to worship together. These people are usually Christians or influenced by Christianity. Some other religious groups also call their religious building churches. Now, the different features of a church. There's the altar, a table where the bread and wine are blessed during the... I'm not for sure what this word, how to say this word. I'm going to put it down at the bottom here. I'm not going to butcher it. The lectern, a stand where the Bible is read from. The pulpit, where the priest, pastor, or whatever delivers sermons. Churches will also have a tower or a steeple, usually at the west end. I didn't know that. I'll have to look at some pictures of churches around here and see if it's on the west end. Now, with Norway, church architecture has been affected by wood as the preferred material. They use mostly wood, particularly in sparsely populated areas. Churches built until the Second World War are about 90% wood, except medieval constructions. So most of their churches are all wood, not brick like some of the ones we have here. Now the Washington National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., they have different windows. The space window on the south side of the cathedral contains a piece of lunar rock. So they have a window with some moon rock in it. The number of angels atop the two west towers of the Washington Cathedral equals 288 angels. The number of gargoyles on the cathedral is 112. So there's more angels than gargoyles. This is the one that I found, this fact here, that was something that I learned for sure. Graveyards are connected to a church. Cemeteries are not. And I read it like 3 or 4 different times in 3 or 4 different places. So church graveyards, not church cemeteries. So graveyards are attached to a church, cemeteries are not. Now, is that followed? I don't know. But I thought graveyards and cemeteries just 2 words for the same thing. But it's not. Now, you'll find many universities, colleges, schools, law courts, hospitals, and prisons have their own chapels. Chapels are smaller churches, and they also have some called wayside chapels. I know there's some postcard of one up in the mountain, Tranquility Chapel or something like that I've sold before. But wayside chapels, these are chapels built specifically for the use of travelers who can drop in as they are passing by. They may be found in busy marketplaces, deep in forests, on lonely mountain roads, and nowadays at airports. There's also funerary chapels. These are chapels are found at cemeteries. Cemeteries are not connected to a church, so there won't be a church in the cemetery. Now, if it was a grave, there's no chapels in a graveyard because it's connected to a church, right? I think I got that right. The Sistine Chapel is a large chapel in the Vatican Palace, the place in Italy where the Pope lives. Now, I actually toured the Sistine Chapel and toured the Vatican in St. Peter's Square when we were over in Europe a couple of years ago. We spent 19 days over there and we saw many countries. Some of the places that I worked at over there in Germany and stuff like that we saw. And we spent 3 days in London. We took that train, the tunnel, down through there, that high-speed train. That was a lot of fun. We learned a lot. We had a great tour. What did Paul Revere do at the old church, old North Church, not the South Church? It is most commonly known as the first stop on Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, where he instructed 3 Boston patriots to hang 2 lanterns in the church steeple. The lanterns were used to inform Charlestown patriots that the British were approaching by sea and not by land. 2 by sea, 1 by land. In the North Church. That's where I had to fix the thumbnail. But that's some facts about churches. Sell-through rates. I'm not going to go through all the stuff where I calculate. I have been. I wanted to get that very clear in the other before videos. So I'm just going to say how I calculate and what the calculation is. So sell-through rate, the way I calculate it for postcards, is sold divided by listed times 100. Basically, what's sold, eBay sold me sold when I type in postcard space church, and then listed, I take that number, I divide sold by listed, and I times it by 100 just to give me that percent, and I round up or round down. Churches sold, 12,000 churches sold. 260,000 church postcards are listed on eBay. Times 100, you got a 5% sell-through rate. Now remember, sell-through rate is not really tied to average sale price, because the subject, the town, and stuff like that drives that type of card. This is just the number of cards. This is not price. This is how many cards are moving through the eBay system. People are buying and selling. If you bounce this up against the other sell-through rates of other postcards, because you don't want to bounce it up the shoes and toasters and stuff, you want to do like for like. Postcard Montana, 8%, and churches are 5%, so a little lower. Postcard Texas is 7%, churches a little lower. Postcard Rhode Island, 6%, churches a little lower. Postcard North Dakota, 2%. It's a little higher. So I would say this is an average. Churches are average. They're going to sell just like everything else. They're not like Wiki Watchy Mermaids or Disney. They're going to be your cards you list. Those are your filler cards. Now, as you're going to see here in a second, some churches can demand a lot more money. And it just really depends on the town, the church name, how hard to find the card is, or real photos, etc. Just like with banks, post offices, hotels, motels, it's the name. And a lot of times what the card looks like. The sell-through rate tells me that if I put a church card up, it's going to sell just as well as Rhode Island cards. Just depends on the subject. Remember, these are just guidelines to give you an idea. So you go to a white box full of, say it's 50% church postcards, and they want $100 for the box, you know you're going to be sitting on your money for a while. Now it's full of Wiki Watchy Mermaids and Disney, and 40% is churches. Then you know you're going to sell those cards a little faster. You're not going to sell your money, so you might pay up a little bit more because you know you got a faster turnaround. But I've been sticking these high-end pricing in now as long as I remember in the videos, because I wanted to make sure people see that there is money, higher money than just average. Here's one here, Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's a ME church, $217.50 with an auction, 9 bids. And he put shipping at 84 cents. That ain't going standard envelope. That's the thing with auctions. You want to watch it. You put it as standard envelope in an auction, and it goes over to $20 or $50 for the whole, or over $20. You can't ship it with eBay standard envelope, so you're going to have to eat some of that money in your thing. So I always recommend people, if they're going to do auctions and it's going to go over $20, just put first class or priority on there, because you're going to end up paying for that anyway. But $217 for that postcard. Next one, now this is a stereo view, not a postcard, but I wanted to put the stereo view in here. I don't know anything basically about stereo views. I just know when I get them, I sell them in lot. This is an Alaska stereo view, Russell Greek Church in Stika, and I guess the title of the name, the 1816s, means something in that stereo view world. $150, $485 shipping. Stereo views are those things you put in the old things, and it has 2 images, and you have a viewer on a wooden rod, and you can move it, and you can see it looks like 3D back in the 1800s and early 1900s. But stereo views can be good money. I guess there's a niche. I know there's a niche for it out there and stuff like that. I've never got into them. I see them all the time at auctions and stuff like that. I know Calamity Photo, Neil. I sold a bunch from the Nashville Hall to him because that's what he does. I'm not, just because I got them, I'm not going to branch out and do them. I'll never get to them. So I might as well get it to people that can do it. And that's what people do with postcards with me. They don't, someone buys a storage unit, finds a bunch of postcards, they call me. And they don't want them, and I get them for a good price. But stereo views you want to watch. I left that in there, not a postcard, but it's some ephemera. Next one, now remember this little gray thing around here. This is not part of the postcard. That's what they put the background on. St. Philip Church, Laurel, Delaware. Postcard. $72. 3 bids. Now he's got the shipping right, $505, but I would probably still go up a little bit or do something with that if they're going to spend $72 on a postcard. But $72. So that tells you right there is some churches that do get some more money. But let's go back down to earth a little bit. I found 3 sold high postcards of churches. Timothy's Episcopal Church interior. Now you're going to find churches with interior. It's going to show the altar, the aisles, the pews, and stuff like that. This one went for $57.95 and basically $5 shipping. Interior of a church. Next one is a circa 1910 Cartersville, Georgia, Sam Jones Tabernacle Methodist Church. Probably one for about $26, $25. Just an outside of a church with a fence. Next one is the Trinity Episcopal Church, Poultry, Vermont. Hand-colored. $30. So that's why it's just like post office, banks, and stuff like that. You want to throw them into your applications like Worthpoint or whatever, as we're going to get into, to comp some of these. And if they just show up average, just put the average price. But if they show any more, you want to dig a little deeper and get as much money as you want out of them, can out of them. But then you look at the sold low, as we always see. You got a 99-cent one, you got a $1.55, and you got $1. None of these were auctions. These are all buy it nows. The 99-cent one has best offer. Just got to be careful. What's the average here? So the highest sold ones we're seeing 57, 25, 29, 30. So I would say 25 to 30 is the average high church. You got your outliers, of course, like I showed you, but you can go up as high as that pretty with the average ones. Let's see what's listed out here. Of course, I grabbed one that's $2,700. Antique Bordertown St. Mary's Church, Franklin stamp, rare. And like Tom, the stamp guy, said, those Franklin stamps are just pretty like the forever stamps today. So $2,700. Next one is Alexandria, Virginia Christ Church Parish, interior altar. Now I've sold Alexandria. It does sell. The Mason stuff for George Washington, Alexandria, and stuff like that always moves. Not for the highest price in the world, but I price it right and I always sell it. I had a guy come in a couple months ago and bought like 4 or 5 of them. So it does sell. That's not a $76 card. I've sold this card. I have different cards like this. They're not $76, especially Virginia. Postcard, the little church around the corner. I do not even list this card anymore. And you're going to see here in a second why. I got enough of these up. There's so many different views of this church in New York. It's crazy. That's not a $25 card. It will not sell for that. Those are like the Amish to me. I don't really list them that often. Listed high, you can take a look at them and bet them across and stuff, but just by looking at these titles here, the first one, no. The second one, no. The last one, no. Right there, because of my experience, there's nothing there for that. The bottom one, the little church, I put them up for $45. The Alexandria is probably 5 to 8. And the top one, I have no idea. But let's look at the listed low. Oh, look what we got, the little one on the corner. One guy's selling for $25, and this one's just about the same view, the front view, but not exactly the same, for $1.49. And as we've seen in the other videos, he ain't making any money. And they shipping at $0.99. You got one for $25, one for $49. They need to do their homework and see what they got. And this is the competition. This is not me roasting the sellers. This is the final product that I'm competing with. So right away when I see the 25, I know, okay, I'm fine there. And I see the $1.49, I'm going against that more than the 25. My cards are for these cards probably $4.55, $4.65, and they're selling for $1.49. But then you got to look at what these sellers do. Do they have, free returns? Do they back up their stuff? Do they ship correctly? Do they ship in 1-2 days? And stuff like that. Are they valued people when they ship and stuff? Will they take care of you if there's a problem with your shipment? That's where people follow you and come back, because you provide that service. It's not just more about the price in the card, it's about the service. Then the next one is John's Deals. I'm not for sure why they put John Deals up there. That's why I pulled it. Is that the name of his store or something? Is he advertising in a title? Vintage Church at the Nazarene. So that's a Nazarene card, and he's got it for $1. We haven't seen much Nazarene here yet. Next one is Christian Church, Oklahoma City. I think that's a pretty neat one. Only got it for $1.50. So be careful with comping. That's what I do with these videos, and go over the pricing. One, it level sets me on church sell-through, the sell-through rate and the pricing. So when I see churches, it resets me, because things do change over the years, and you don't want to get stagnant on your prices, because some things can move up or down. That's churches. Who knew? Now we're going to get into the poll. This is kind of an interesting topic, and I'll tell you my spin on it in a second, but poll was, do you use Worthpoint? And I'm going to get into what Worthpoint is here in a second. 29% of the people said yes, they use it. 67% said no. And 4% said other. And I got a few comments, I believe, on this. So you're probably saying, what the heck is Worthpoint? If you haven't been seen this before. So Worthpoint is not just for eBay sellers. And this comes right off the Worthpoint site or someplace I grabbed this information. It's a resource tool for anyone that owns antiques, arts, or vintage collectibles. Worthpoint is a perfect tool for anyone trying to identify and value these types of items, whether they own the items or thinking of buying or reselling. So Worthpoint is like Terapeak on eBay, or if you go in and put Postcard Illinois in, it gives you the prices of the cards. Worthpoint looks at everything and keeps a lot of data for many years, and you can do a lot of different things with it. Now, I use Worthpoint now. I let it lapse there for a while. I had it before, and I wasn't using it because I was doing a lot of toys, and the cards I was doing were filler cards, and eBay was giving me what I needed in the web. But what changed me is that Santa card I sold last year for $1,900. I was looking for comps and stuff. I thought it was about $300 to $400, and when I did the video, Connie does one of the postcard sellers sent me a message because she does a lot of research with real photo postcards and stuff like that. So she's really into a lot of the researching, and she said, "Mark, I found one for $1,800." I said, "Really?" In Worthpoint. So I went out and looked at it, and I said, "Oh darn, I let my thing lapse." So I just paid up again for another month, and I was able to see the prices on it. And I said, "Oh, okay." So I put it up for $1,900. So it actually made me money. Someone else helped me with the pricing and point me in the right direction. That's what you want to do with sites and communities, is people help you out. You can't know everything. You need help. I might know something about a church postcard here, but someone else might know something else about another church over here he sold. So you always want to have a communication to help each other. It's not hiding the information, it's just helping each other because they can help you in the future. So I was able to turn my Worthpoint back on. Do I want to keep it? Because I do month to month. I said, one of the things I want to do this year is raise my average sale to price, and I'm wondering if Worthpoint can help me do that. So I pay, what, $25, $26 a month or something like that for Worthpoint, and my average sale price is going up. It's helped me dramatically in some of the cards to raise those prices on there. And I think the querying, I need to get a little bit better in putting some query statements in there and stuff. eBay, I think, is a little easier with that, but I'm getting better with Worthpoint. But I use it as a gauge and stuff like that. So I'm happy with it so far this year, and my number has went up some. But to give you an example, I have a postcard, say, it's called The Pink House, Cape May, New Jersey. And I put it in Worthpoint, and here's a page that comes up. It found 8 different listings that sold throughout different things, and all of these are from eBay. It tells you a picture, a title, the price, the date it sold, and what places. They have auction houses and different like that if you get into different things. But if you look at the first one, it's just a lot of cards. I throw that out. Next one is the Pink House. That one sold for $13.49 in 2013. You can narrow it down to the year, like last 6 months, last year, last 2 years and stuff too in Worthpoint. But that sold for $13.50, say. Next one is a lot. Souvenir packets, get rid of those. Then the next one sold in just this year, last year, November, for $9. So you got $13.50 and $9. So you're running around about $9, $10 right now. Then you got some other souvenir packs, throw those out. You got some courthouse, you throw that out. There's two more pink houses, $6.50 and $6. So you got $6.50, $6, $9, and $13.50. Where would you price that card? It's just another piece of data. So you know what's sold in 2022, the latest, for about $9. Years ago it was $13, and the year before the biggest one that was there, I would say it's a $7 to $9 card. That's how you can use this. I would vet it out a little bit more, but when you get into some of those things, it's going to fall in the $865 bucket for me, just by looking at that. Then I might take my query and I might dump it into eBay and just see what it is. And then if I don't like what I see in there, I'll throw it out on Google and look at Card Cow. Different things will pop up out there. But I don't spend a lot of time with the Chromes and stuff I know that is average. But this is what Worthpoint will bring up. Now the pricing for Worthpoint, I have the $28.99 I just pay monthly. I don't have the Marks and Library or the Best Value. Somebody in the comments said $600. I'm not paying that or something like that. I don't know where they're getting the $600 because if I pay about a year, it's $260. So right now I'm just doing what I want, $29 a month, and I think that's the one I got. But those are the prices, and there's a 7-day free trial, and after 7 days you have to cancel or whatever, but read the website on that. But worthpoint.com is where you want to look at this. 30% of the people said they use it, 70% said they don't. I think the people that use it know that if you're selling cards for $5 average sale price, you got to sell 8 or 9 cards to pay for it. So your first 8 or 9 cards you sell pays for it for the month. Now if you're selling a lot of other antiques and stuff like that, it might be more beneficial, but I never used it for that. Most of the stuff I was getting, the reason I stopped, because most of the stuff I was getting in the tour world was the stuff you're seeing on the shelves at the store. It was all brand new, most of it. So it's not going to have anything in there, and I pretty well know what they sell for just by what I paid for it and what's going hot on different things. So that's why I got rid of it back then. Now with the postcards, I was doing filler cards a lot, so I just use eBay. But I had some comments about Worthpoint. It's just not me, a talking head up here. This is what other people are saying. The Pyro Know-It-All, I love Worthpoint. It's pricey, but just another tax write-off that makes me money. Yeah, as it is, make sure you put it as an expense. Applebee's Attic Treasure. Apple buys Attic Treasures. Worthpoint is worth every penny, in my opinion. I've sold a lot of higher dollar postcards and ephemera that I would have otherwise underpriced by a lot. That's me too. Terapeak is okay for some things, but in postcards and other ephemera, the exact same item may only come along once every few years. And Terapeak doesn't go back far enough. I think it goes a little bit back farther now. I'm not for sure. I haven't checked how far back. Worthpoint may not be for everyone, but I have 8,000 plus listings, and it definitely works for me. I paid a yearly rate, which is much less than paying by a month. Yeah. So Apple has this part of his system. Part of his process is critical, is Worthpoint. It's made him money. Chris says the cost doesn't justify it for me. That's a decision for the business. Do you want to pay $300 a year or whatever for something that might not get you that at the moment? Stephen Holton, no, there's other free ways to determine price setting and points. So there's other ways. You don't need Worthpoint to have a business on there. And Stephen even said that there's other ways you can dig these prices out as well and look at stuff, which is a good comment here, Stephen. Thanks. Alex Metz, I love Worthpoint. It pays for itself 10 times over every month. It all depends on what you're selling, but for me, Terapeak doesn't go back far enough. So that's two things with Terapeak not going back far enough. And you're just looking at eBay where Worthpoint can take a little more. I'm getting nothing for this talking about Worthpoint. I just use it. It's been part of my system this year, and my average sale price has went up. Is it all due to Worthpoint? No. I'm buying better cards as well. Will I continue to use Worthpoint? It depends. If I do a little test and not use it and see what happens, but I kind of gotten used to it and I kind of like it. So you use what you like. It's given me some insight on some things. So take a look at Worthpoint. You got a 7-day free trial if you don't use it, and just see if it does anything for you. If not, do what these guys said. Go find the free things. That's the poll. Make sure on Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock, that you're subscribed and you hit that bell icon so when they come out, you can be part of the votes. So we get to see what everybody's doing, and at the end of the year, I'll put them all together and do another best practice video. We can see, remember, best practices are created by us. What we do selling postcards, not eBay telling you, or Etsy, or whatever. It's how we manage the business with the best results. And if 70% of the people say they don't use it, and only 30% does, I question why I'm using it. But I know why I'm using it. But other people have ideas too. So, is it a best practice to use it? I wouldn't say it is. I think it's an individual choice. Make sure you subscribe and watch for these polls I put out. I got a whole bunch coming out this year, every Saturday. Viewer comments. Favorite part of the video for me. I always want to watch to the end because this is information not just from me. It's coming from the viewers, other postcard sellers. First comment is wondering. Said, I just listed a collectible Mississippi china plate. It has the flag on it. It has a war flag, Mississippi flag. I wonder if it will be taken down. All my stuff, it was taken down when they did all that back then. All that stuff, they removed my listings. So I would say could. A lot of people have asked me about my video I did, the 5 postcards you can't list on eBay. A lot of people say, well, I list Cuba. It's no problem. I just know it's this by this day, whatever. I don't. Those 5 things there were taken down. Cuba was not allowed when I put it on eBay back then, or Etsy. They both slapped my hand and took them down. But I am not one to go anywhere near any of these ledges, to the ledge. If it is any doubt of a Vero, any doubt of being taken down, it does not get listed on eBay or any of my sites. It goes to the flea market, or I lot it up and it's sold separately. I am so far away from that ledge, I will never fall off. Never have got suspended or anything. I stay away from that ledge. It's not a battle I want to deal with. I'm not going to fight eBay about a couple Cuba cards. Well, they got them up, why can't I? I don't want that conversation, and it's not a battle I want to fight. You also don't have to should worry just about the bots on eBay. You need to worry about other sellers and other people reporting your item. Now, will that flag get taken down? I don't know. But if someone reports it, and either manually or the bots didn't get it, it probably will be. But I couldn't tell you if it is or not. There's other ones out there. It's just like speeding. You know, the 50 cars that speeded down the road this morning didn't get caught, but I pull out and go a little faster than the speed limit and I get pulled over. It's just part of it. The rules can be a little gray area and stuff like that, but I am so far away from the edge, I will not even step closer to that. I'm not going to have one card cause me a lot of time or headaches or affect my store. So I stay away from things like that. I wouldn't. You can do what you want, but me, I would not even think of listing that. But that's just me. I don't mess with that part of the business at all. Thanks, Wondering. Jim Fuller says, Mark, you're right. Inventory is out there. You just need to find it. I think I said that in another video. Example, I went on Marketplace this weekend and made an offer for 150 plus postcards that they were asking $75 for. I bartered with them and got them to $60 plus $14.85 in shipping. I received them yesterday and there were 1,200 cards. So they said 150 plus and 1,200 cards. I thought I was bad with the how many jelly beans in a jar contest. I would have done better than they did. 1,100 standard and 100 continental. There were RPPCs, undivided backs, divided backs, chromes, continentals. He got the whole thing, the whole menu, the whole smorgasbord of postcards for, what, $75? All for a nickel each. A lot of room to play with there. Again, ask family, friends, neighbors, check Craigslist, Marketplace, estate sales. Twice I've had friends say they were cleaning out their deceased parents' house, and I said, if you have any postcards, don't throw them away. I will buy them. Both times they brought them to me and wouldn't take anything for them. Between the two, I got over 1,000 cards. They are out there. Absolutely, Jim. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, tell your people what you do. They might think you're crazy, but they're going to give that crazy person free postcards and stuff. And people won't. I've had people give me stuff, and how much you want for these? I'll just take them. And I've just gotten to the point, okay, thank you. That's very nice of you. I don't even try to argue with them anymore. They just want to do a good thing and give them to me, a crazy person. Sure. But Jim is on a roll this year with a lot of good things. Thanks again for sharing, Jim. Then One Old Buffalo. I remember I did that lighthouse postcard video about lighthouses. We got an experienced person here. I always love it when people put in there what they've done in their life or what their job is or what they've done and stuff like that and talk about that because I like life experiences. I can sit for hours and listen to people talk about what they did because it's like, okay, I did this for my life, but could I have done that and stuff. I just like listening to people's stories. But One Old Buffalo said, great topic today. Until COVID hit, I was the backup light keeper at my lighthouse. He was a lighthouse keeper. Battery Point Lighthouse in Northern California. I'm still a tour guide there. That is neat. I am also a postcard publisher with 4 cards in my line. And I think when old Buffalo, I sent you an email, I would love to see those cards and on there and stuff. And I might even pick up some to show on the video here. So check your email, send me an email or comment, we'll hook up and I'll get these cards and let's share them if you want. It's up to you, but I would love to share those cards. One was Battery Point and the other was St. George Reef Lighthouse. We have 2 in our county. So we've got 2 lighthouses. He's a lighthouse keeper. Great thing to share. I mean, postcards cover so much that I'll never learn it all. Thanks, Buffalo. And then Epic Treasure, Ken, has a postcard channel. He puts videos out. He's a professional photographer. He did, let me see if I can get that calendar there. I got this year. It's from Ken. Those are photos that he did. But go over and check out Ken. He's getting real close to that monetized level in YouTube that everybody, us creators hit is 1,000. So go over and hit subscribe, support Ken, and support these other sites about postcards and ephemera, and we'll keep getting YouTube to get more people in so we get good conversations like this. But here's Ken's link. But Ken said, nice office setup, Mark. He's talking about the video I did where I walked around my office. I did that again because I was getting so many emails and stuff about people asking me about this and that. I said, and they go, you got to do another video. So I just started around. But if you haven't seen that video, it's just basically how I work. And it's not how you have to work. I just wanted to show you what I worked, and hopefully people can pick something out that I've done over my time doing postcards and reselling that has helped me. This isn't just overnight. This is years of changing things up. And I'll be putting some more shelves in the fish room over here, right around this wall. I got rid of a fish tank this week, and I combined fishes. They didn't fight each other, so I was able to combine and get rid of a 60-gallon tank. I only got 7 now, not 8. And right on the other side of this wall here, I can put 5 more of these shelves. My wife says, what are you going to put on them? That's all fish stuff. Postcards, probably. He loves how I was organized. Also heard a ka-ching going off during the video. Yeah, I leave my phone on because people always say, well, I thought it was my phone, but it was in your video. I'm still waiting on the day I get a sale when shooting a video. Yeah, it'll come, Ken. Little, not as much lately as it normally is, I can tell you that. But it'll come there. Always enjoy your comment. I enjoy yours too, Ken. So check it out. We all do it differently. We all do things differently. Pick out what you need. We're not all the best at it, but we make money and we sell postcards. And like-minded people. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.